I'm working on this project today. There's a dead tree right in here. And this is why it's scary. These branches are hanging off it, and I've got to fall the tree that way, which means I have to stand underneath them when I'm sawing. So I moved all this stuff so it can come this way. I think I'm going to take this little tree down, but this dodge is in the way, and probably that might be okay, but this trailer's in the way. My next big project is going to be putting a road in where the excavator is. I've got another street over that way, and I want to level this hump out and expand my parking area. This is that recycled asphalt I put down in the fall, and that's how much that truck sunk all winter. After all winter, so that's not bad. Same as the trailer. That stuff packed down really hard. We're on hold for a little bit. The camera doesn't do it justice at all. It's leaning quite a bit here. Trees tend to grow straight. So when it starts leaning like that, it typically means the ground is moving. So what I want to do, I've got a chain going to the bobcat so that I can pull it back to where I want it to fall. There's one spruce tree in front of it that I think I'm going to fall first, and then I can take the big one down, the dead one, then I can pull it towards the bobcat over that way. But I've got the excavator running so I can pull it. I'm hoping to crawl it down in here a little bit, reach over there with the boom and just kind of stabilize it, and maybe it'll protect me a little bit from the falling branches. definitely a tight squeeze. So that should stay put. That almost never moves. So that way, if the wind blows really hard here in the next little bit, it doesn't just topple over onto my stuff here. And I'm gonna start by taking this tree out, because then I can fall the dead tree that way. So I've got two choices. I can take this aspen white tree down, and I can push and pull the dead tree this way. Or I can cut this spruce tree down and pull and slash push the tree this way. I don't want to get hung up in the trees is my only trouble. There, if I take this one down, the spruce tree, then I can coerce it this way and there's a much larger gap. Let's do that. I don't want to get it hung up in these trees. So I am really good with the chainsaw, but I want to try the proof of concept thing. So I'm going to pull this first tree with the bobcat just to see where it lands. Because if it lands in a good spot, I can do that other tree a lot more confident. So there's actually quite a bit of chain here. When I start pulling that, I'll be surprised if it actually gets over to the bobcat. And I've got another 2 chains on that tree that I've had set up for a while, so it can't fall accidentally, at least without some resistance. I'm just going to take those 2 chains, add it to the bobcat, then I can be so far out of the way. I've got high hopes for this, then I can pull it a lot straighter. So anyways, there's a storm here, and while it's storming, it's not going to be calm weather anyways, so I'm probably just going to hold off for half an hour. The storm's not supposed to last. So it's still pretty windy. And what I don't want to happen is one of these trees get blown by the wind and stuck. So it's not supposed to be windy tomorrow. There's been storm after storm. I've been watching the weather network and it's just saying windy until tomorrow. So I'll come back tomorrow. The problem, if it goes south, my pickup and car and stuff are all parked down here. That can all move, but I've got a fence there. There's my old garage is there and my storage trailer. Those don't move. And this thing with those big branches that I showed you earlier, it's just gonna fall straight on top of that trailer. So I want to pull it this way, but I don't want the wind to affect it. You'll notice I moved the excavator too. It was drooping just ever so barely, and I didn't want it on the tree overnight. Oh, I brought you in here to show you this. So my whole property is full of spruce trees, except for I've got this fir tree. There's a fir tree, that big one there. I've got like 5 fir trees on my whole property. So to see the needles of the fir, they're a lot less sharp and a lot nicer than, that's a fir as well, than spruce. So spruce, they're shorter, but they're pointy and they're sharp. Almost every tree you see in my yard is going to be a spruce tree. I've got 1 fir tree over here. I've got 2 here, and then I've got 2 or 3 more towards the shop. but you can see the redness on them coming out of the bark as well. The spruce trees are quite a bit rougher and different. These things almost look like a birch. That's just another reason I'm being so careful with this dead tree, is its proximity to the little fir tree. Because there's only that fir tree and this fir tree here, this little bit sizelier thing. So that spruce tree on the other side is going to come down, and I think that might give this fir some more breathing room with these two gone for it to grow and get big. There's really no reason to save firs over spruce. I just prefer the looks of them. They're prettier to me. And for those who care, we also have aspen trees. These ones quite often break off halfway up for no reason. And then there's also these pine trees. These are lodgepole pine. That's what they make your telephone poles out of, usually. Okay, I got everything running again. So next morning about 9:30, there's no wind in the sky, and there's supposed to be some storms rolling this afternoon, so hopefully we can just get these two trees down and there's no issues. I'm gonna pull them straight this way, kind of from an angle so they don't fall on the bobcat, and I'm gonna notch cut it with the chainsaw, and I guess just hope they fall this way, don't hit that truck and don't hit this trailer. Okay, I'm gonna put some tension on the chain, pull the tree this way, and then chainsaw it down. Hopefully everything works. Okay, that worked perfectly. If I can replicate the results with that tree, we're good. Okay. Okay, settled on that being a good spot. That gives me a little bit of an angle, so when the tree comes this way, it doesn't land right on the bobcat. Hopefully it just follows that tree. And I don't think it's any longer than about here, so bobcat and everything else should be out of the way. Let's try it. And I got the excavator back in there just to hold the tree. So the main reason for this is if something gets funky, the tree can't just topple backwards. And also while I'm cutting, there's a whole bunch of dead man branches. I'm hoping that if any fall, the bucket will keep me safer. I don't know. I might even put a hard hat on for this one. If you're a long-time viewer of the channel, this will be the first time you've ever seen me wearing a helmet. Even some things like this, I'll be extra careful and just make sure everything's good. Let's get to cutting. Right on. Yeah, these big branches were definitely throwing the weight of this thing off. I tell you what, that couldn't have worked any better. That worked exactly as I'd hoped. It's pretty rotten. So that was my cut, and I cut it facing that way, trying to get it to fall pretty much right where it did. The rot. So I back cut to here, and I cut to here, so it was just this little bit of rot holding that tree at the end there. And then instead of letting gravity do its thing, I pulled it over with the bobcat, hoping that it would be more controlled, and it worked perfectly. The only downside to getting this tree on the ground is realizing that it's so warped that I'm not going to be able to mill it, and I'm sure the rot is up a decent way. So this and this other little guy underneath it shall be firewood, I guess. That's okay. Now I can start cleaning up all this, but that's another day's project. Cool. So I guess I'll end this video here. Thanks for watching. It's the easiest way to get rid of a danger tree. Use 2 pieces of equipment, chains, chainsaw, helmet. See you on the next one. Note for any of my subscribers that have been watching for a while. You've seen my shop build. You've seen that I've had nothing but trouble with GoPro batteries lately. I've bought Enduro batteries. This one's been going since I started the project. It's still at 69%. It's doing so much better than the stock GoPro batteries, the blue ones, and it's doing way better than my 2-year-old Tellison yellow batteries. Those were really good when I got them though, so. Anyways, Enduro battery, worth it.